and welcome back to Scott's Week Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back with my dad today, and we are here for our Week 10 NFL predictions and our Week 11 college football predictions. Let's get into those right now. First out, the two non-conference games of the week, Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Kentucky favored by 17.5 at home. Vanderbilt hasn't won a game at home hasn't won a game all season. They're not winning here. Give me Kentucky to get a win at home over Vandy.
This is a no contest. You got Kentucky and Terry Jewell on the same team against Vanderbilt, who's winless. No contest. Kentucky blows them out.
Next up, Temple and UCF tomorrow night in the Bounce House. UCF favored by 24.5 coming into the game. Give me UCF to win and cover the spread this week.
Wow.
Temple's one of the worst teams in the conference. I got UCF winning this game by about 28 points on Saturday.
I agree that UCF's going to beat Temple. Will they beat them by 24.5 or more? I don't know, but they'll beat them pretty soundly.
Next up, East Carolina and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's getting ready to come into the Bounce House next week and get what's rightfully theirs, and that is that butt whooping that UCF's going to put on them next week. Give me Cincinnati to get a win here at home against East Carolina.
I agree. Cincinnati's got the best defense in the conference. I think Cincinnati gets a win.
Next up, Miami and Virginia Tech should be a good game tomorrow. Give me Miami to get a win at home on the road against Virginia Tech.
I think Miami's actually more of a real deal this year than they have been in the past. I think Miami gets it done against Virginia Tech.
Next up, undefeated Indiana going on the road to East Lansing to take on Michigan State. Give me Indiana. They looked great all season. Got a huge win last week over Michigan. Give me Indiana to get a road win in East Lansing against Michigan State.
Indiana is probably one of the best stories in college football right now. I think this could be a trap game for them, but I think Indiana is going to win in a really close contest in East Lansing.
Next up, Middle Tennessee and Marshall should be a good game here. Give me Marshall at home to stay undefeated and get a win at home against Middle Tennessee.
I agree. If the first name of your college is Middle, you're probably not a very good football program. I'm going to take Marshall.
This game might have been canceled, but I'm not sure. We'll pick it just in case it wasn't. Western Carolina and Liberty should be a good game. Give me Liberty to get a home win over Western Carolina.
Liberty, a top 25 team, pretty shocking. I agree. Liberty gets this win.
Next up, South Alabama and Louisiana should be a good game tomorrow. Give me the Raging Cajuns to get a home win over South Alabama. Back in the top 25 for the second time this year. Give me the Raging Cajuns at home over South Alabama.
You got to feel bad for Louisiana. They've been hit by so many hurricanes. You like to see something good happen to that state. Give me Louisiana in this one.
Next up, number 2 Notre Dame coming off that huge upset last week over Clemson as they headed into Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. Give me Notre Dame to win, but it's going to be closer than people think. I think this is going to be a letdown week for Notre Dame after that huge win last week against Clemson. But give me the Irish to win on the road.
This is my upset special of the week. I think Boston College is going to get Notre Dame. Notre Dame coming off an incredible high. They're going to be down low. Boston College gave Clemson everything they could handle before. I think Boston College gets a close win at home.
Next up, USC and Arizona. USC coming in 0-1 after that loss last week to Arizona State. And they head into Tucson to take on Arizona. Give me USC to bounce back after that. No, wait, they won last week. Give me SC to get a win on the road and get to 2-0 on the season.
I agree. I think USC is better than Arizona, although there's not that much film to watch, but I think USC gets the win here.
Next up, Northwestern and Purdue should be a good game. I will go Northwestern to get a road win on the road in West Lafayette tomorrow. Give me Northwestern on the road to get a win against Purdue.
Is Drew Brees still playing?
No.
They give me Northwestern. I don't think they can. Purdue can hang with Northwestern.
Next up, Arkansas and Florida. Florida coming off an emotional, huge win last week over Georgia. Give me Florida to get a win in the Swamp tomorrow. Minus 17.5. I'll take the points. Give me Florida to win by about 21 points on Saturday against Arkansas.
I don't think so. I mean, I think Florida's going to win, but I think emotional win. Arkansas has performed people's expectations. I think Arkansas is going to give Florida a tough test. It'll be like a 10-point game, but Florida will win.
Next up, Oregon and Washington State. Give me Oregon. Didn't get to see him play last week. I think I was too busy watching the AEW pay-per-view last week. Give me Oregon on the road in Pullman to get it done against Washington State.
Is Mike Leach still at Washington State?
No.
So give me Oregon. If Mike Leach was there, I'd give him a chance. But since he's down in the Big 12, I'm going to take Oregon.
I think Mike Leach is now in the SEC. But,
You're right. Thank you.
Next up, SMU and Tulsa. As a UCF fan, I'm hoping Tulsa can win this game, but I don't see it. Give me SMU to get a road win in Tulsa against Tulsa.
I think Tulsa is one of the most underrated teams in this country. I know they struggled against East Carolina, but I think Tulsa is going to beat SMU, and they're going to beat them pretty handily.
Next up, Michigan and Wisconsin. Michigan unranked, 1-2 on the season. At home, give me Wisconsin to get a road win in Ann Arbor tomorrow against Michigan.
I think Michigan's actually going to bounce back and pull the upset and beat Wisconsin, but it'll be a really close game.
No college game day game of the week this week. They will be at the Masters tomorrow, so we'll see what goes on with that. That should be exciting. Now into the NFL games for the week. First up, Tampa Bay and Carolina. 1 o'clock on Fox. I feel very bad for the Carolina Panthers coming into this game because you have a PO'd Tom Brady coming into this game. Give me Tom Brady to throw for 4 touchdowns this week. Tampa Bay wins it 34-17, and we cover the 5.5-point spread. I will take Tampa Bay over Carolina.
I'm concerned about Tampa Bay after watching against New Orleans. They looked horrible. With that said, I do think they'll bounce back. I think they'll bounce back big, though. I think they'll beat Carolina in a squeaker.
Well, the reason why we didn't look good last week was because Shannon Sharp said something this morning. Tom Brady's one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL when he's pressured. And Carolina does not put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So I think Brady has a great game this week.
Good point. Good point.
Next up, Texans and Browns. Browns coming off of a bye week. Texans looking to get some wins going. It's not going to happen here. Give me Baker Mayfield and the Browns to get a home win over the Texans.
I think this should be a close game. I think the Browns are not as good as their record, but I agree. I think they'll beat the Texans.
Next up, the football team and the Detroit Lions in Detroit. From my buddy Eric Taylor, I will take the Lions at home to get it done over the Washington football team on Sunday.
This is 2 bad teams, the Lions and the Washington football team. But since the Lions are at home, I will also take the Lions.
Next up, Jags and Packers in Green Bay. Jake Luton is your starting quarterback again this week.
Who?
He actually looked pretty good last week against the Texans. I'll go with the Green Bay Packers to get a home win over the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday.
I agree. You know, the Jaguars, they're playing admirably with a backup quarterback, but the Packers are going to get the win.
Next up, Eagles and Giants. Both teams in that race for the NFC East Conference division title this year.
Trying to move the 6-10 record.
Give me Carson Wentz and the Eagles to get a road win in New York against the Giants.
This is sort of crap versus crap, but I think Philadelphia's less crappy, so I'm going to take the Eagles.
Next up, Broncos and Raiders in Las Vegas. Give me the Raiders at home. Stephen A's sleeper pick to make the Super Bowl. Give me Josh Jacobs and the Raiders to get it done at home against the Broncos.
I agree. The Raiders have not played well the last couple of weeks, but the Broncos just aren't very good, so give me the Raiders.
Next up, 2 red-hot rookie quarterbacks going against each other in South Beach this weekend. And then will be Justin Herbert and the Chargers taking on Tua and his Miami Dolphins. Give me Tua to stay perfect. Give me the Dolphins at home to get it done against the Chargers.
The Dolphins are a huge surprise this year. I mean, going into Arizona and winning that game, I never thought they could get that win. So I agree with Scott. I think Miami's going to win this game at home.
I almost picked him last week, honestly,
Really?
but I just couldn't see it.
You're a smarter man than I am.
Yeah. Next up, Josh Allen, who had a monster game last week in fantasy for me. Thank God, I needed it. He's still on strike 2 for me, so he needs to continue to play well if he wants to remain my starting quarterback in fantasy. They head into Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Give me Josh Allen to have another very good game this week. Give me the Bills to get a road win in Arizona against the Cardinals.
This is probably a mistake, but I think the Cardinals are going to bounce back, play a really good game against the Bills, and win in a really close one.
Next up, Seahawks and Rams on Sunday Night Football on Sunday. Tough game here, but I'm going to take the road upset. Give me Seattle on the road in LA. I think they played much better than they did last week in Buffalo. Give me the Seahawks on the road to pull off the road upset against the Rams.
I think Russell Wilson's going to score plenty of points. The problem is the Seahawks defense, which is crazy to say given the pedigree of that defense, but I think the Rams are actually get the win at home in a close one.
Next up, Niners and Saints on Sunday. Give me the New Orleans Saints, who are looking very good right now. Give me the Saints at home over a banged up Niners team.
If you look at the Saints' performance against Tampa Bay last week, you'd say they're the NFC favorite to get into the Super Bowl. I think they're going to beat San Francisco pretty handily.
I wouldn't say I don't think there's any favorite right now in the NFC.
I think it's the Saints. That's just my personal.
I think there's like 4 teams that you could think of as favorites, pretty much.
We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah. Next up, the Bengals and the Steelers at Heinz Field. The Steelers squeaked out a win last week against a pitiful Cowboys team last week. No Joe Mixon again this week for the Bengals. That's a huge loss. I'm going to take Big Ben. I think he'll be off the COVID list by the end of the weekend. Give me Big Ben and the Steelers to get a home win against the Bengals.
I think last week was a wake-up call for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They played poorly last week, but they still got the win. I think they're going to bounce back in a big way in the Pittsburgh Steelers, and my man Terry Jewell are going to get the win.
Next up, the Ravens and the Pats on Sunday Night Football. Fitzy was making fun of us last week, saying that the Pats will not lose by 21 points this week. I think they absolutely could. I'm going to take Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to get right back on track and get a win here on Sunday night against New England.
This is not your traditional Bill Belichick New England team. They do not look very good. They really had to come from behind to beat the Jets. So I think the New England Patriots lose this game in a big way to the Ravens.
Next up, Vikings and Bears, Monday Night Football. Both teams are doing pretty good right now, but I am going to go with the better team here. Give me Nick Foles and the Chicago Bears to win at home on Monday night, 48 degrees kickoff. Give me Nick Foles and the Bears to get a close win at home against the Vikings.
It's a tough game to pick because I think the Vikings are actually on an upward trend. The Bears are a bit of a downward trend. I think that Vikings are actually going to get a road win here, but I'm tossing up on this one. But I think the Vikings are going to win.
And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Week in Sports. We'll be back next week with more of our predictions, and we'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Week in Sports. See you later, guys.
See you guys.